Okay, so the moment of truth after 1 week.
Well gang, I've kicked off week 2 and I'm really happy with how it's going so far. So this is the first day of week 2 and I started it with my long run. So I've got some pretty decent miles in this morning. Really aching now, but you know, in a way I kind of like that because I feel like I've worked hard. You just have to be careful, I think, not to do too much. Maybe I did a little bit more than I should. I don't want to be risking injury or risking burnout, certainly at this early stage. But I'm glad to have got out there. I've got the habits which seem to be working. So I've got out there this morning, feeling really good about it. So here's to a good week 2 of my training program.
Hi everyone, it's week 2 and it's day 2 and I'm feeling pretty inspired actually. I got up early this morning, found myself just randomly watching other people's journeys on YouTube who've done something like this. I do find it really inspiring, so it's given me a bit of a kick up the backside this morning. So I'm out for my second run. I had quite a long run yesterday, my legs are really aching, so I'm just taking it easy this morning. But it's about getting out the door, isn't it? Like I said last time, just crossing that threshold, getting out the door. That's the number one thing here, that consistency. I got back yesterday for my run. I was really happy with that. Got out of the shower, realised I had a tick. There are ticks in the area where I live, so it's buried its head in my leg and you can see its little legs sticking out behind it. So got that out. So this morning I've got really high football socks over my knees and my tracky bottoms going over the socks. I don't like ticks. So that's a little measure that I'm putting in place. This morning I'm thinking a little bit more about diet actually, because yesterday I didn't go that far. It was my sort of long run. I'm not really up to high mileage at the moment. But going out for something that was a bit longer, I did find it quite hard, and it just made me think a little bit more about fuel. So you do have to fuel those runs. So this morning I've got up, I've just had focused on some fruit this morning, had a couple of pieces of fruit. We had a bit of flapjack, so I've had some flapjack, and hydration as well, so I've made sure that I've drunk enough water. It's something that it's easy to overlook really, think about how we fuel our runs, but it is really important. So that's a bit of a focus I think perhaps this week for week 2. I'll be making sure that I'm fueling properly, giving myself time to do that, allowing the food to digest in the morning before I get out, making sure that I've had enough to drink. So we'll see how we get on today. So it's an easy effort run for me today, following yesterday's long run. So what I tend to do is I follow a pattern of kind of 3-day sequence with a challenging run, such as a long run or a speed session, then follow it up the next day with an easy effort like a recovery style run, which is what I'm doing today, and then resistance, so weight the day after that. So yesterday did go quite far. Legs are really feeling it today, so I'm not going to push myself. I don't want to risk injury. Just a nice easy jog to get the miles in and get that weekly mileage as high as it reasonably can be. It's very windy this morning, so I don't know how well you can hear me, but I've been forced to change my route. There's cows in the road. I live in a very rural area and sometimes the road is just full of cows, which is fine, but you may have seen in the news recently there was a runner trampled to death by a herd of cows, and it has happened before as well, so it just makes me a little bit kind of paranoid really. So I changed my route, that's alright. I guess sometimes you just need to be adaptable. So I'm just going to go in a different direction and sort of see where I end up really. It's been alright, I'm feeling pretty good considering how tired my legs were yesterday and earlier on today. So I'm actually finding it quite difficult to stay in zone 2 and keep my heart rate down and keep my pace down. So I think from now that's going to be my focus. I'm just going to try and slow right down as best I can for the rest of this run, taking it nice and easy, zone 2 running. Oh goodness me, right, can someone please explain to me how I can run a circular route, yet whenever I turn a corner, whichever direction I go in, it's still a headwind. How on earth does that work? So just out on my run now, I went past the guy who was stopping in his van every now and then to put out these mile markers. There's a local marathon taking place today, and I'm actually really annoyed that I'm not in it, but I want to use that as motivation to make me ready for these events. I really want to be taking part. I mean, it's my local event. I'm not fit enough. Yeah, another thing to motivate me to get in good shape. So week 2, day 2 has actually gone a lot better than I expected. Sometimes you just don't know how it's going to go until you get out there. I was expecting my legs to be really sore today. It's actually gone really well. I've had a good run, so I'm happy about that. So I just want to keep this going now. I feel like I've really laid some foundations, good habits are forming. So as we go through this week, I want to really keep it going. I think next week will be a recovery week, so after that is hopefully when I'll really see the benefits from the hard work that I'm putting in now. One thing that I've always been really terrible at is just remembering to stretch. So I'm going to make the effort to do that now. I'm going to try and make sure that I'm incorporating that, because it is important. It can help prevent injury, help you to recover in time for your next workout. So, so it's a few hours since my run from this morning. So now I'm doing some static stretching. It's a good idea to do them away from your workout. So if you're going to run in the afternoon, stretch in the morning. If you're going to run in the morning, stretch in the afternoon. Try and have a few hours in between like that. You should do dynamic stretches directly before your run, which I'll talk about another time, but static stretches like these should always be done away from your run. It's a really good habit to remember to do those. So here I am. So this is another thing that I'm going to be working on now, making sure that I'm getting my stretches in. So it's day 3 of week 2, and I'm up nice and early to crack on with my weights before getting to work. Oh gosh, dead bugs are one of the most tiring exercises, I think, but it looks like perhaps the routine is starting to stick.
So it's day 4, and like, it's absolutely brutal out there. It's lashing down, and it's one of those things that tests you, I guess, because you just don't instinctively want to go out in that, but at the same time I kind of sometimes want to just embrace it and just get out there and get wet and just enjoy the weather.
Okay, I've let it get a bit lighter now. It's about 20 to 5 and it's actually even heavier now, the rain, but it's quite light now, so I'm just going to get out. Well, I'm always saying that we just need to embrace the weather, especially in the UK, because, you know, we're not always going to have great weather, are we? Somewhat miraculously, when I came out the door, the rain's actually eased off. The wind seems to still be here, this wind that we've had for maybe the last week or so, but you know, it is what it is. We don't let it get in the way, do we? We just kind of crack on with what we're doing. So today's session, I'm just going to have a gentle warm-up from about a mile or 2. Then I'll stop and I'll do a few dynamic stretches and drills just to get my body ready. I'm going to do some speed work, so I'm going to do an interval session with basically some short sprints and recoveries in between. And I really want to make this an important part of my training now, speed work's really, really important. So there's a lot that we can do with that to improve our outcomes. Okay, so here we go with the speed work then. So as I'm just getting back into this, I'm not going to push myself too hard. I'm going to be going for 400 meters, which is about a quarter of a mile. A few of those repeats with a recovery, which is what we call the interval, in between. So checking my watch, and here we go. Trying to keep it controlled. Already running out of breath. Not going to be able to talk. Okay, so that's 400 meters. So I'm now taking it down to recovery. Get my breath back, bring my pulse down, and then do it again. Right, I've allowed myself to recover. Pretty much got my breath back. Just been going nice and easy for a bit. So this is why they're called repeats. Here we go with the next one. So this has been a really hard workout, I can't lie. Really pushed myself this morning, but you feel like you're doing something good when you do that. You feel like you're achieving something. I've had Pink Floyd obscured by clouds in the ears, which surprisingly is a pretty good running album actually. So yeah, just finishing off now. I'm really out of breath after pushing hard, but I'm glad about that, so it's all good. So I got out there and did it this morning. I had lots of reasons not to, like it's still raining. I've got a really long day at work today actually. I'm going to be at work for at least 12 hours I think, in various meetings and all the rest of it. It would have been very easy to say, oh, I'm just not going to do it today. So I'm really glad that I've done that thing that I keep banging on about, crossing the threshold, which has become a bit of a mantra for me really. So I'm really happy with myself. Remember, you never regret a run, and I definitely don't regret that one. So I got some repeats done, so basically a few sprints with recoveries in between. I wasn't really putting too much pressure on myself in terms of how far and, you know, how fast and how many and all of that. It's just about establishing those habits really, because it all makes a difference. So I was doing roughly about 400 meter sprints and then just letting myself really jog in between just to get my breath back and get my pulse down. And these are the workouts that I find really work for me. So historically, when I've combined high weekly mileage with the speed work, that's when I found that I've lost quite a lot of weight actually, and that's kind of the plan and what I'm hoping to achieve this time round as well. So another good day, I'm really pleased. So it's week 2, day 5, and I'm up and out, so the habit seems to be forming, which I'm really glad about. It's just an easy jog this morning after yesterday's workout, so it's all about just getting miles in legs, focusing on that total weekly mileage. Actually, I'm having to adapt a little bit because I'd planned to do more this morning, but you know what, life happens and sometimes you just don't have time. So the options were just do nothing, not do it, have a day off, or just come out and do less. And I think that's a healthy mentality. So I know I won't be doing as much today, but I'm doing something. So the habits are forming, like I say, getting out, getting miles in the legs. And that's it really, there's nothing more to report than that. Just a nice, easy, relatively short day today. I'm trying to listen to my body here because I'm halfway through this run and I'm absolutely worn out. I'm feeling really tired. So I'm a bit of a distance from home, so I'm going to have to carry on. I haven't got time to walk. So sometimes this just happens, I think, and it probably tells me that I am ready for a recovery week next week. So I'm just going really easy, but finding it hard, to be honest. So it's day 6 of week 2, and I'm currently about halfway through my strength and conditioning workout. So I aim to do one of these about every 3rd day. I do a full body workout actually with 12 exercises. Mostly lifting heavy weights, which I'll be honest with you, I don't really enjoy it as much. I'd much rather be out pounding the pavement. I don't like doing deadlifts. I don't like doing rows. Dead bugs absolutely wipe me out. But I know that it's beneficial for me to be doing these. I know it's a really important part of my training. I know that by doing this, it means I'm much less likely to get injured. There are loads of other benefits to resistance exercise, which are very, very well documented through the scientific research. It's good for runners in terms of explosive power, so if you're doing a lot of strength work, that can help when you're actually out running in terms of the amount of energy required for each push, each step. So we know that it's tremendously beneficial to do it. I'm not as motivated to do it, so I force myself. So that's what I'm doing today, so I'm about halfway through, and I'm pleased really that I'm doing it. It's the last day of week 2, so I'm going to try and summarise where I'm at really. And overall it's really positive because I feel like the habit's been established. I've had a couple of weeks of not missing many days, so largely sticking to the plan. It's really helpful to have some kind of plan, whether it's a written plan or a mental plan. A few days ago, last week, I was talking about my Achilles, which had been bothering me. It turns out that was just a niggle, so I'm all right. It's non-existent. I don't mean my Achilles is non-existent. I mean the pain or discomfort is non-existent. So really glad about that. My body is kind of telling me maybe it's time to cut back a little bit now. It's so important that you listen to your body. I found myself with some historical injuries just kind of rearing their head a little bit. I'm generally able to manage those, but found myself having to kind of go up and down stairs sideways a little bit here and there. My legs really have been aching a lot. I think when it gets to the point where it feels like it's getting beyond just kind of aches, then you just need to really take it easy. And I've had pretty intensive couple of weeks, to be honest, so it's really important now that I let my body recover from that. So I'm going to go into a cutback week or a down week where I purposefully dial back the mileage. So I'm going to keep doing the exercise, but at a much reduced volume, so just less of the same really, letting my body recover now. So then after that I'll be able to increase the intensity again. There's also the psychological impact. I mean, I'm very open and honest about things going on in my life, so I do a very, very intensive job, which really impacts on things. It's a very rewarding job, but as a person who really, I am susceptible to stress really. So, sometimes I think, goodness me, why did I choose to do one of the most stressful jobs that you can? But it is very rewarding, but it's also very time intensive, and that's the thing here. So I'm very, very tired at the end of the day. I tend to start very early in the morning. So that does make it hard in terms of the practical side of actually doing the exercise. Also, outside of work, there are significant medical factors or issues in my family, which are always the priority as well. And so these things do impact on your capacity to do the exercise. It's raining again though, but I'm glad I've come out. But I'm purposefully just doing a really easy one now. So to finish off week 2, I'm dialing it back for a week. I'm just stepping out the door and just doing a little bit, not pressuring myself at all. Certainly not a hard workout, just a really short distance, easy jog this morning. So overall though, I'm doing this because as much as anything, it's important to me that I've got the habits that just stay and that I keep doing this, and I make it part of what I do in my morning routine. I'm up and I'm doing some form of exercise. So in summary, I'm really glad. I feel like things are going well. I'm hopeful that my weight will have come down a little bit when I weigh myself tomorrow morning. I'm generally better. I said this week I was focusing on diet. I said that at the start. And I feel that I've generally stuck to that. The odd little slip here and there. Sometimes I come home absolutely mentally exhausted and I feel like I crave kind of sugar. So I've had a few bits of chocolate and things like that here and there, and I know I shouldn't. But overall, I feel that I have been better. So we'll see tomorrow morning. We'll see if I've managed to lose a little bit of weight as a product of what I've been doing. Next week will be hard because I'll be doing less exercise. So that makes it harder to lose weight, I think. It depends. There's a discussion to be had around that. But I'm just going to have to be really disciplined in the cutback week, in the low mileage week, just to make sure that I'm behaving myself and I'm looking after myself and being healthy, really. So anyway, 2 weeks of success, I'm going to say. So I'm glad about that. And here's to week 3.
It's the end of week 2, and last week I weighed 73.5 kilograms.